Hello and welcome to the Ghost Town Chronicles. In the heart of West Virginia, nestled deep within the New River Gorge, there exists a forgotten fragment of American history. A town once bustling with life, powered by the heartbeats of trains and coal, now stands as a silent testament to the golden age of railroads. Welcome to Thurmond, the railroad town that time left behind. Thurmond, at the peak of its existence in the early 20th century, was the heartbeat of the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway. Trains chugged, whistles blew, and coal dust danced in the air as it became one of the essential transportation hubs in the Appalachian region. But as you can see, the hustle and bustle have long faded. The ghosts of the past echo through the silent streets and overgrown tracks. What happened, and how did such a vital place become almost deserted? Let's go back to the late 1800s. The railroad boom was in full swing. Rail lines were rapidly expanding, connecting distant towns and cities. The coal-rich lands of West Virginia were of prime interest, making towns like Thurman the lifeblood of this railway expansion. Thurman began its journey to prosperity when Captain Thurmond acquired 73 acres along the river's banks. This small piece of land would soon transform into one of the most significant rail hubs in the eastern United States. At its zenith, Thurmond witnessed the passing of 15 to 20 trains a day, transporting coal to power America's rapid industrialization. The town's national bank was one of the richest in the state. Saloons, theaters, and hotels lined the streets, catering to the hundreds of railroad workers and coal miners who called this place home. The national bank still stands, albeit shadowed by the ravages of time. The once vibrant Dun Glen Hotel, which reportedly had the longest-lasting poker game in the country, now silently watches over the New River. But as the 20th century progressed, change was inevitable. The rise of automobiles and the construction of highways meant that rail transport became less crucial for the nation. Coal mining saw a decline, and the once indomitable spirit of Thurman began to wane. As jobs dwindled, families began to move out, seeking greener pastures. The banks closed, the theaters went dark, and the train whistles grew fewer and farther between. By the late 20th century, Thurman's population had dwindled to less than 10 residents. Today, Thurman stands within the New River Gorge National Park and Preserve. Efforts are being made to protect and celebrate its rich history. While trains no longer dominate the landscape, the town is a magnet for historians, explorers, and those who cherish the echoes of yesteryears. Let's continue our journey with two more remarkable railroad towns, this time exploring the tales of Glenrio on the border of Texas and New Mexico and Cisco in Utah. These two places, though separated by miles and states, share a narrative eerily similar to Thurman's. From the wooded heartlands of West Virginia, our journey takes us next to the arid plains of the American Southwest. Meet Glenrio, a town straddling the border of Texas and New Mexico. Established in the early 20th century, Glenrio began as a railroad town, catering to the needs of those traveling the Rock Island Railroad. As the age of automobiles dawned, it smoothly transitioned into a popular rest stop for those journeying along the famed Route 66. Glenrio, despite being a quiet ghost town today, once boasted a vibrant ecosystem due to its location on the famous Route 66. One lesser-known fact is that, for a period, Glenrio tried to advertise itself with the catchy slogan, "First in Texas," or "Last in Texas," depending on the direction of travel. This was in reference to the town's location right on the Texas-New Mexico border, serving as either the first or last stop in Texas for travelers on Route 66. Many believe Glenrio was always a quiet, isolated place because of its current state. However, during its heyday, it had a range of services catering to travelers, including motels, cafes, and gas stations. It wasn't until the construction of Interstate 40, which bypassed Glenrio, that the town saw a rapid decline, eventually leading to its abandoned state. The misconception is based on its current status, overshadowing its once pivotal role in Route 66 history. The motels, diners, and gas stations that once buzzed with life now stand silent, mirroring the stillness of the desert around them. The whispers of travelers long gone can almost be heard on the winds that sweep through this forgotten slice of Americana. From the hot desert plains, we travel to the rugged terrains of Utah, arriving at the ghost town of Cisco. Cisco wasn't always this quiet. In the late 19th century, it was a bustling rail supply town. The Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad used this as a crucial stopover, and the discovery of oil in the region added to its prosperity. However, just like Thurmond and Glenrio, change was inevitable. As rail importance diminished and newer transportation routes bypassed Cisco, the town's heartbeat slowed, eventually fading away. While many know Cisco as an abandoned ghost town along the scenic byways of Utah, not everyone is aware of its cinematic history. Cisco has served as a backdrop for various films and music videos. Most notably, it appeared in the Johnny Cash song, The Ballad of Ira Hayes, and was used as a filming location for scenes in the movie, Thelma and Louise. But Cisco refused to be entirely forgotten. Its haunting landscapes caught the eyes of filmmakers, becoming the backdrop for movies and music videos, and echoing its stories to newer generations. We'll continue our expedition, exploring the historical essence of two more significant railroad towns, namely Banks in Idaho and Rhyolite in Nevada. Our journey now takes us to the Pacific Northwest, amidst the dense forests of Idaho. Hidden amongst these green expanses is the old town of Banks. Originally established as a railroad logging town in the early 1900s, Banks became an essential junction where the north and south forks of the Payette River met. The thunder of logs being transported, the whistle of the steam engines, and the fervor of the timber boom reverberated in its every corner. But as timber logging slowed and the railroad's significance diminished, the once active hub became a silent witness to the relentless flow of time. Though nature has nearly swallowed its history, Banks remains a hauntingly beautiful vestige of an era gone by. Leaving behind the forests of Idaho, we are drawn to the deserts of Nevada, where the ghost town of Rhyolite stands. Born during the gold rush of the early 20th century, Rhyolite was a town that embodied the spirit of the Wild West. With its own railway station and a myriad of businesses sprouting rapidly, it seemed the town was destined for greatness. But the promise of gold is fickle. Mines dried up, and with it, Rhyolite's fortunes faded. The railway, once the town's lifeline, ceased operations, leaving behind a town abandoned to the sands of time. Today, the skeletal remains of this once prosperous town stand defiantly against the harsh desert elements, a monument to both the ambitions of man and the unforgiving nature of time. Thurmond, Glenrio, Cisco, Banks, and Rhyolite. Each town, a page from the annals of American history, narrating tales of progress, hope, dreams, and the inevitable cycle of change. In their silence, these towns communicate the loudest, reminding us that in every ending, there's a story of a glorious beginning. And though the railroad's song may have faded, its echoes are eternal. Make sure to check our video on exploring 10 most amazing abandoned train stations. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you next time for more Ghost Town Chronicles.